He makes photography look like art, and he does mostly like street photography.
When we begin to discover this wonderful world of photography.
Oh my gosh, when I saw the video, I just wanted to pack my bags and go to Japan. Welcome back to another episode, the second episode of Raw, Unfiltered, Edited. And we have again today Ria joining us, and we're going to be talking about our topic for today. Yeah, hello. Our topic for today will be inspiration. And we're talking about inspiration in general, like people who inspire us. And I've got a few people lined up, and Ria has a few people lined up to talk about. And we promise we're gonna keep
Well,
this shorter.
not 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 actually
People,
people,
yeah,
but like any forms of maybe art or maybe people, maybe art, maybe anything in this world that keeps you inspired to create,
yeah,
especially with photographs.
awesome. And I think it would be best if you go first. Would you want to go first and share your stuff?
So last week we started with meaning. So
Yeah.
what does it mean? What does photography mean to us? But
Yeah.
by now, for this second topic, we'll go with inspiration. What inspires us to create or do photography or art in general.
In general, yeah.
So yeah, when we begin to discover this wonderful world of photography, most of us are exposed to, the maybe I don't want to say commercial, but like what's in there, what we always see in
Yeah.
the media, in newspapers, maybe for photojournalists, or in magazines, commercial work, or mostly nowadays travel and food photography, right? Especially in lifestyle photography,
Lifestyle, yeah.
especially
I
in
was gonna say
Instagram.
lifestyle, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But and then as you go deeper, like maybe you get past being as a hobbyist, or even if you're just a hobbyist, like later on, ma-realize mo, you get inspired with just listening to music and these images, starts to create in your mind. Parang MTV, gano'n. So, mostly for me, we grew up in the MTV generation, right?
Yeah, yeah,
In the like mid 90s to early 2000s.
yeah,
Yeah, so or mid 2000s. So lahat yun very visual, pop culture. So for me, I am inspired most of the time. I am inspired by pop music. Yeah. So before I used to like have these images and put lyrics on it, like yung iba quotes, diba?
yeah,
So but like okay, I have this image and this song is playing in my mind. So instead of like a quotable quote, I put like a song lyric, like something that resonates to me. Like kahit hindi sikat yung kanta,
yeah,
basta and then I incorporated in that image. So and then as photographer, sometimes we are inspired by who we are influenced by.
yeah,
So like for me, I started with nature and landscape. It's because during when I was starting with photography, I did a lot. I That was the time when I was very active going to the mountains, mountain climbing and
yeah,
stuff, and have this camera. So syempre, eh, uh, you know, I'd take this mountain photos, but for me it wasn't really. I was processing it not as a just a landscape photo. It was like unconsciously I was thinking of a you know, conceptual idea. It's like, okay, I have this literary stuff in my mind and it represents this mountain.
Yeah.
So
How can you like
that's
express it
yeah.
visually?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how I came with my conceptual landscape works. Not necessarily like just the travel landscape photos. So of course, obviously, for most landscape photographers, their first mostly their first inspiration would be Ansel Adams.
Yeah.
Kasi
Yes.
yeah, really. So
That's an amazing
like
shot. Yeah.
yeah, so this one is my favorite photo of him. Kasi this pattern you can always see when you go mountain climbing or when you just when you just go out in nature. So this is called the Tetons and the Snake River. I think if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So the Tetons and the Snake River. This was shot in 1942. So nung I have like one photo inspired by this. Na when I went to Zambales and then the bus I think the bus stopped in one area by the bridge and it has this kind of river.
Yeah.
And immediately parang immediately si Ansel Adams yung naalala ko. So yeah, so it's easy to recreate his photos, if you're really inspired by him. And like all throughout his life, he just documented the Yosemite Mountains. So yeah, so it's always Ansel Adams. And then later on, you would discover other, landscape photographers, landscape conceptual photographers. Yeah, so maybe you can just marvel at Ansel's um, mountain photos or nature photos as is, or you will be inspired, to maybe create a landscape photo with without its literal, without giving any literal meaning to it. Like you just, wala lang, parang, okay, I associate this with something else. You make a story behind it, So I go for the latter. Yeah. So my next would be, I didn't prepare 5. I only prepared 3.
That's
Kasi,
okay. That's okay.
yeah, we have a lot.
Yeah.
Siguro, yeah. But
And it's
like
hard
right
to
now,
like narrow it down. It's very hard.
yes, yes, exactly. So like for me, I just chose 3 that's basically at this period in my life has a big like not influence because I'm not doing landscape at the moment, but like I always go back to their work. I am inspired by who they are as a person, who they are as an artist, who they are when they do their work, when they create, and what impact they made in the world through their images. So this one, I don't know if you're familiar with him, Max, pero or if you've seen his documentary film, the documentary film about him. Wait, this is Sebastião Salgado. You're familiar with, Sebastião
Sounds
Salgado.
familiar. Sounds cool.
Yeah. So, dalawa yung naging when Sebastião Salgado released his book titled Genesis.
Yeah.
This one, yeah. So he's done, Sebastião Salgado is known for his photojournalism, photojournalism. So he's covered like human conditions from Africa to the Middle East, yung conflict stuff happening around the world. Pero this one is his most like, known work na talagang made an impact around the world about the environment and climate change. So this is just one photo.
Yeah.
But like if you go through this body of work, sobrang inspiring na wow. It's not even Nat Geo don't even take this kind of shots. Like it's high contrast, it's super yung clarity niya is, super.
Yeah.
So this is just the tale of a whale, I think. It's Nung nagpunta siya sa, I don't know, Arctic region, covering he has penguin photos, but like generally what's happening in the, I don't know, North Pole or South Pole, that area. So he's covering climate change. And then what made this impactful even is he has this documentary made about him. You should watch it. You will be really inspired. It's called Salt of the Earth. The Salt of the Earth.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it documents the life of Sebastião Salgado when he was still an economics student, I think from Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, and then how he became a photojournalist. And then doing this, lahat ng work niya very important. You know, talking about human condition and nature and stuff. So, sobrang impactful nitong gawa niya. And also him as a person, like, you know, I've told this before, if you're a creator, you know, there's something in yourself that you want to, you know, to change as well. You know, you want it to show in your work. Yeah. And siya, parang, he felt like, okay, he's taking these images. It's like he's robbing people or nature with these images. Mm-hmm. Diba? Parang, and then in return, parang he wants to give back in return. He planted a forest, you know, just to give back. Like yung dead land na pinamana sa kanya ng parents niya, he turned it into a forest. So for him, it's a way of giving back with taking all these photos all throughout the years. Lalo na especially he was really parang how can I say this? Yung work na ginawa niya sa Africa covering the migrants there, you know?
Yeah.
That's the most parang he got affected with. Yun. So like grabe, parang him as a person creating this work is really, really inspiring. So I still go back and see his photos or like, you know, get the snippet of the scene from the documentary. Sobrang galing niya as a person, you know. Ayun. And then lastly, this is a book. So
nice.
It's called I haven't really read all of it, but kasi nagpunta ako I went to this library in like this library. It's a gallery and they have a nice collection of photo books. Tapos ito, nakita ko siya. It's called The Photographer's Playbook. So you will be interested with this one. Like 307 assignments and ideas for photographers. So from different photographers. So nandyan yung mga kilalang photographers, yung iba hindi ko kilala. Pero the one person who I'm really inspired with at the moment, especially with the kind of photography that I'm doing. I'm trying to discover what documentary photography is. So, nung inopen ko siya, on my birthday, nagpunta ako sa library and I found this book. And then, so, okay, I went through the photographers and stuff. And then, yung isa dito sa photographer's playbook is si Soth.
Soth.
So, yeah, Soth he's very grounded in his work as a documentary photographer. He doesn't really travel outside, discover the world. He just go into small towns around America or even just in his own hometown and photograph the people, you know, and their loneliness and stuff, like mundane life. Mostly his works are portrait works. So, napaka-humble yung work niya. And if makita mo yung work niya, but what makes it special is the storytelling. I don't know if people will, you know, maybe some will find it boring, but for me, if I want to do like siguro yung tone and feel ng work, if I'm going to do documentary, I want it to be like Alex Soth. So, and especially he works in words and images. So, di ba, sabi nila, pag litrato, the image is enough.
Yeah.
But like, before I discovered Alex Soth, I'm also doing like words na with my images. Sabi nila, it's too much, you're describing too much. But then I found comfort knowing that Alex Soth is doing this kind of work. And I really like the part where he says here, part of my ongoing education. So, ang gandang pakinggan ng ongoing education. He wants to figure out how words and photographs can work together. And for me, I want it that way. So, he quoted Robert Frank here. Robert Frank is one of the icons in photography in America. He's basically one of the first, part of the Magnum photographers who went around the United States to document, yung after effects ng war. And he has this book called The Americans. It's one of the sabi nila greatest photo books because it documented the lives of Americans during that time. So, like in the tradition of Robert Frank, Alex Soth is doing that as well. So for me, as a photographer who's studying, who keeps like who likes to learn, I want to do this kind of stuff like he does. Yeah, yun lang. So these are what's keeping me at the moment keeping me inspired at the moment.
That's cool. I mean, like Alex Soth. I hear about him. I haven't seen a lot of his work, but I like what you said, like how he's a lifelong learner, because we're all technically lifelong learners, right? And it resonates with me as well in the sense that remember what we talked about last week, like when I take a picture, the stuff that means to me, there's a story behind the picture and how I can go on and talk about what happened when I took this picture, right? So there's an experience behind it. So that is cool. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing those works of those three people. On my end though, it's a bit different. And I admit, like we talked about this before. I know you're a lot more well versed on the arts and the history of photography, and that's awesome. I try to keep up. I sadly have a hard time sometimes keeping up, but share my screen. There we go. Put that down, and of course, first person would be Ted Forbes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the art of photography.
Of course, Ted Forbes.
Yeah.
How can I forget it? Yeah, super.
Yeah, so I can't like pick out like a specific picture, but mainly it's his. Actually, not his Instagram account. I'm showing you his Instagram account here, but it's actually his YouTube account. That.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So even before I started taking photos, even before I had my own camera, I was already watching the videos of Ted Forbes. I think it was around 2012, 2013-ish when I was already watching his channel. And, everything from like the art side and photography as art and photography history, and not just like the technical side, is from I learned mostly from here. So this is when my interest in photography was starting to manifest, and I've watched a lot of his videos. Again, I said it's hard to pick out a specific video or a specific image that he's done, but to sum it up, he inspired me to learn more about photography, not just the technical side, but the art and the history. Although I admit I'm not good with that side, but I try. So there, Ted Forbes.
I
Yeah.
I just like I want to share something. Like I got obsessed with Ted Forbes too at one point, and like I used to listen to a podcast,
Yeah.
like yung mga podcast that he's a guest. So like he mentioned there how he needs to balance like him doing episodes that he like, and at the same time doing episodes to keep the page or his YouTube running, because
Running.
he
Yeah.
needs, they still need, sponsors and stuff. So like he really needs to do those product reviews,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to keep up. So that's how it works. Like I learned, dun ko lang nalaman na that's how this works. So maybe eventually your page will do that in the future.
Hopefully. But yeah, I get it. And
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people um, react negatively when he started doing that. But I don't mind it. I mean, it's still
Yes.
photography. It's like you're still talking about photography. So I don't know. Anyway. um, so that's one. Second, which we've talked about a lot recently, would be Sean Tucker.
Oh, yeah. You're the one who introduced him
Yeah.
sa akin.
I found out about him later. I think like around 2017-ish, I think. And he has an amazing backstory, Sean Tucker. You should check out his videos on YouTube. I found his YouTube channel, not his Instagram channel. And I think just like Ted Forbes, it's hard to pick like a specific photo that that I like from his. But um, to sum it up, and I know like Sean Tucker doesn't like labels, but for the sake of describing what he does, he makes photography look like art, and he does mostly like street photography. And he's got amazing photos from different places. But yeah, and whether if he's doing like street photography or portraits, they all look amazing. But equally amazing is his mind, but also his words. And Sean inspired me to do things my way. Not to mind how people try to put you in a box or label you and tell you how to do certain things, but rather to figure things out the way you want to do it and do it your way. And to be comfortable with it.
It's true.
Yeah. If I could highlight one video, it's the one I sent you.
Yeah.
Um,
For you happy.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Photograph
in
what
the
makes you
top,
happy.
yeah.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. So that if I have to highlight one video that he's done, it's that recent one. It's amazing. Check it out. Another photographer that has inspired me, and this she's not. I don't think she's as well known as like Ted Forbes or Sean Tucker. But it's Juliette Roti. Juliette Roti, and I'm sorry, I scrolled all the way down. Um, so she's an amazing photographer, and if you watch her videos, she's such a sweetheart. How she talks and how she explains things. But the first time I saw her work was in a video. So I found her YouTube channel, and her first video was the first video I saw was this portrait photo shoot in the backyard, and the photos are amazing. But when I saw the video, like I'm not just amazed that she's doing a portrait shoot in the backyard. But she has a bit of chemistry with the model she had in the video, Christina. And she has a lot of shoots with Christina, and that's why I started following, because the chemistry between the photographer and the model is amazing. Now, if I can single out like a single picture that I love that she took, it's a photo. Again, she has got a lot of amazing photos on Instagram. But one photo that really stuck was with Christina. And it's this one in front of red roses. I think they're roses. And that's why I scrolled down. It's this specific photo. Yeah. And the photos, the colors, it's that's what caught my attention. How she shoots and how she edits, and she uses natural light, and I guess to sum it up, Julia inspired me to try to play around with color, and I actually tried to like mimic her style with like the warm tones and the dreamy, airy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, looking back, I failed miserably at doing that. But yeah, that's she's got like that. That's the work. Her work was.
You're trying to build your style.
Yeah, yeah. Still trying to figure out my style. Yeah, back then. But yeah, it was this image and specifically her videos with her shoots with Christina that caught my attention and inspired me. Now the next one is a bit different. Uh, this is, and I'm sorry, I know him as Auxout. Apparently his name is Miyake, T Miyake. So he's a photographer, but he also does video, and he has amazing photos and videos together. Like if you go through his IG, his model, by the way, I believe he's married to this girl now. So there's an interesting story there, but his photos are amazing. The colors are just wow. And I found out about him recently. I think just last year or towards the start of this year. Yeah, I think last year, towards the end of last year.
Yeah, I remember you sharing that
Yeah, yeah.
this account.
Yep. And if you look at the pictures are just amazing. Like, um, they're amazing. And when I learned that like he shoots Sony, because I switched to Sony, right? I started shooting with the Sony, and I was like, wow, like this is interesting. The shots, the colors are insane. But the video that caught my attention, and I don't think I can play it, and I won't play it because he's got music as well on it. Um, but it was his YouTube channel that caught my attention. Specifically, he's got this one video which is a brand new story. So that, oh my gosh, when I saw the video, I just wanted to pack my bags and go to Japan. It's just
Yeah,
yeah, and
Japan is
yeah, the context, like
nice.
you're in Japan, and then he shoots like these amazing photos, these amazing videos, and the colors were amazing. But I think to sum it up, what he inspired me to do was to explore more on video actually. So the reason why I started exploring video and shooting video was because of him. Because I saw like, oh, he's shooting amazing stuff with technically almost the same gear. I'm actually using the same lens right now to shoot me. One of the lenses he uses. So there, he inspired me to explore, to change up my colors and explore video. Now, one last person I would want to mention, and this is probably the most different out of them all. Um, he does photography, he does video, but I'll show you the channel. It's Cody, and I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher his last name, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Cody Wanner. I'm probably gonna cut that out. I don't want to butcher his name, but Cody, um, Cody's an amazing guy. He's got a lot of photos which are all like personal stuff. Because he did like a vlog challenge and he vlogged every single day for 365 days back in 2018. Yeah. So if you go to his YouTube channel, he has a lot of videos, but when you look at it and you scroll down, you're gonna see like he's been doing YouTube and video for over 10 years. He was like there, like if I'm gonna scroll down right now, he was like there like at the start of it all, I think. I think the oldest video I found of his was like 13 years old. So there. And I found him his videos started popping up on my suggested feed on YouTube, and I had no idea who he was, but I started watching his videos, and he's just an awesome, down to earth person, good hearted person, and um a lot of his videos revolves around creativity and creating. And he has this. I believe it's not his really. I think it was an idea from someone else or a concept from someone else. But it's called No Small Creator, and he has a page on Facebook hashtag No Small Creator. And his idea is that there isn't such a thing as a small creator. Like the fact that you create, that's something big. Like whether you only have like 10
That's true.
followers, yeah, right. And it makes sense because he's been doing YouTube for a long time, and he's like whether you have like 5 followers or 10 followers or 1,000 followers, it doesn't matter. It's like you create content, you create art, you create media, and there's no such thing as a small creator. It's an epic task at hand, and it's not easy. And his videos are different. He does photography, he does videos commercially, but I guess to sum it up, he inspired me. Actually, is one of the reasons why I started a YouTube channel.
Vlogging, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it doesn't matter, just create, do what you want, and whether you have 5 followers or 10 followers doesn't matter. And yeah, so he inspired me.
Yeah.
He inspired me to create.
And yung the effort and the courage to get yourself out there, like, even if you're saying to yourself like I'm a nobody or what, but I want to create, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you want to create, there's this avenue, free stuff, free platform that you can put your creative works. That's why it's there, and yeah. So it's important for that Cody guy, to, like his existence is important for us to be inspired and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
And going back to that, like I wanted to like keep it down to 5, and it was tough. And I think an honorable mention about that, like creating and just going out there and doing your thing, and not like it all ties in, like Sean Tucker, don't mind like how people label you and put you in a box. An honorable mention, I guess, would have to be like Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, which
you've been bugging me about that guy for the longest time. You're like, watch Gary V, watch Gary V, and I'm like, okay, finally I got to watch it. Now I understood why. And even Ted Forbes
talks about
is also talking about Gary. Yeah.
And the interesting part,
Actually, all the YouTube creators. Even Chase Jarvis is talking about it.
Yeah, Chase Jarvis. Yeah, and also like Chase Jarvis was with Gary, did an episode with Gary. Cody actually got to meet Gary as well. So it's interesting like how they all intersect and overlap and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I think another person that Cody also interviewed and and hangs out with, I think still to today, is Peter McKinnon.
Yeah.
Which is like another honorable mention. Like I don't watch his content as much because he tends to lean more on video, and at that time I was like looking more really into photography. But yeah, awesome stuff.
So I'm actually thinking maybe our, like, your subscribers will, maybe one of your subscriber might think, bakit puro foreigners? Like what I mentioned earlier, like when you start, initially what you will see is this, people from the other part of the world doing this stuff. So wala pa sa Pilipinas. There is maybe
yeah.
maybe let's maybe we can reserve a little something for in the future, maybe for like
Future
our
topic.
fellow Filipino creators. Yeah,
Yeah.
future topic. I actually have several, but it would be nice if we get to know them and invite them. No, but no,
That would be
there
interesting,
is,
yeah.
but yeah. So it's important also, like, well, maybe this topic will be reserved for the next episode, but let's not mention which topic we'll be talking about. But what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is,
Secret.
yeah, what I'm trying to say is knowing our own is also important
Yeah, yeah.
to you know to
Definitely, definitely. Like,
to like, how will you say it? Knowing our own is also important in being inspired by yung mga kaparehas natin Asians,
yeah.
because it adds to our work as well.
Yeah, yeah,
To,
definitely, definitely. Like the list I selected is by no means like um isolated to a certain I Juliette Roti is from Australia, and Miyake Auxout is from Japan, and Sean Tucker I think is from London, right? Sean Tucker's from London, I think. Yeah. So they're not like all in the US or all here, and I think Cody is from Canada, I think. No, is he from the US? I forget. But they're not like isolated to a certain like geographical part. There are like local photographers. Actually, there is one photographer that oh my lord, portraits locally that I know na like but
you like,
yeah, I like his work, but I didn't find out about him later on. And his work is great, but it didn't really like influence me. Like I had to pick like these people that inspired me and influenced
yeah,
me. Yeah. Yeah.
that's true.
And just to
Yeah.
the photographer, the local photographer I'm talking about is I don't know if you've seen Eric Cruz. He's got
Maybe I'll check.
nice portraits. Yeah, awesome portraits. Yeah, there. So, as promised, we kept the video short.
Yes.
Because last time,
Short, sweet.
shorter, sweet, straight to the point. Because last time it was a bit long, yeah.
Yeah. But I do hope we get to inspire your followers or some people who are looking into another side of photography that's not too technical, but just talking about the image and stuff.
Yeah. It's
That's
always
the goal.
it's always good, to talk about. And in general, like it doesn't have to be like philosophy, or it doesn't always have to be about gear. You can talk about the image or whatever, or the actual the person. Like in this case, the people that have inspired us, not necessarily one single piece of work that they've done. Like in one case, like I mentioned, like Ted Forbes has an entire long list of
Library.
videos and works and talks that he's done that have inspired not countless photographers. So yeah, awesome stuff.
That's true.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're gonna wrap up this episode again. As promised, we're gonna keep it short and follow this shorter format. And again, I'm gonna say goodbye, but don't hang up yet. So until the next episode, catch you all and keep
Bye.
safe. Bye.
See you
See you next episode next week. Yeah.